Your thermometer is stuck at 95 degrees or higher, and your garden is sending out clear distress signals. Leaves are wilting under the relentless sun, tomato plants are dropping their flowers before they can set fruit, lettuce is bolting straight to seed overnight as if it's trying to escape the heat, and you're standing there with a hose in your hand, wondering if anything in your yard is truly going to survive the brutal summer drought that's only getting started. That specific moment of gardener's frustration, that sinking feeling when the peak of summer turns your hopeful beds into a battlefield. That is exactly what this video dives into. Most gardeners follow the same pattern year after year. They visit the garden center in spring when everything looks lush and vibrant, pick plants based on what looks good at the moment, get them in the ground with excitement, and then spend the hottest, driest months watching them struggle, constantly adjusting watering, fighting pests that explode in the heat, and feeling defeated as yields drop. The issue isn't your effort or skill. The core problem is the choice of plants. Trying to force cool weather crops through extreme heat and drought is simply the wrong approach. The smart, effective strategy is selecting vegetables whose very biology and ancestry make them thrive when temperatures soar and rainfall disappears. Plants that originated in the hottest, driest regions on Earth and reach their peak productivity precisely when your other garden plants are shutting down. Today I'm sharing 8 of these true heat-loving, drought-thriving champions. These aren't just survivors, they are heat-powered performers that deliver bigger, more flavorful harvests in the heart of summer stress. Subscribe to Plant Explainer right now and hit the bell icon. Every single week, we deliver straightforward, real-world explanations and strategies that work in actual home gardens under real, often challenging conditions. No idealized textbook advice, just what succeeds when the weather gets tough. Stay with me because number 4 on this list is the incredible vegetable that actually speeds up and produces more heavily in 100-degree heat while everything else around it slows or stops. And number 8 is the one I completely forgot about during a long trip. I left it without water for 3 straight weeks in the peak of summer drought. When I returned, I expected a dried-up wreck. Instead, I found a thriving, bushier plant loaded with heavy, perfect fruit. That experience fundamentally changed my entire philosophy on summer gardening, and it will probably change yours too. Let's get into the list, starting with the foundation of so many gardens. Number 1. Tomatoes. Here's a fact that surprises almost every gardener when they first internalize it. Tomatoes are not fragile, cool weather plants that merely tolerate summer. They are true tropical crops native to the hot, relatively dry highlands of South America. When grown in alignment with their natural preferences, intense summer heat and even stretches of drought become their advantage, fueling stronger growth and heavier fruit set rather than causing collapse. The most common failure point in hot, dry summers isn't the high temperatures themselves, it's inconsistent soil moisture. When heat spikes and watering is erratic, one deep soak followed by dry days, then another watering, the plant experiences repeated stress. It responds by aborting flowers through blossom drop to conserve resources, and your potential harvest disappears. The cycle of feast or famine watering keeps the plant in survival mode instead of production mode. The game-changing fix is straightforward but requires commitment. Deliver deep, consistent watering directly at the base of the plants, aiming for every day or every other day when temperatures remain above 90 degrees. Focus on consistency rather than sheer volume. Combine this with generous mulching. Apply 4 to 6 inches of straw, shredded leaves, or other organic material in a wide circle extending at least 18 inches from the main stem. This mulch layer does double duty. It significantly lowers soil temperature at the root zone by up to 10 degrees and dramatically reduces evaporation, keeping that moisture consistency reliable even during multi-day dry spells or heat waves. For gardeners facing the most extreme conditions, variety selection is non-negotiable and more important than many general guides admit. Heatmaster, Solar Fire, Arkansas Traveler, Heatwave 2, and similar specially bred cultivars were developed to continue setting fruit in temperatures that cause ordinary varieties to fail entirely. Heatmaster, in particular, was created for deep southern summers and performs reliably even as temperatures approach or exceed 105 degrees, conditions that would end the season for most other tomatoes. Tomatoes naturally develop extensive, deep root systems that allow them to access moisture lower in the soil profile, giving them surprising resilience once established. Consider techniques like planting them deeper than usual, burying part of the stem, to encourage even more rooting. In the most intense heat zones, some gardeners use 30 to 50% shade cloth during the hottest afternoon hours, but avoid overshading because these plants crave sun when water is managed properly. Prune suckers selectively for better airflow, which helps prevent fungal issues that can worsen in humid heat combined with drought stress. Beyond the basics, think about companions. Basil planted nearby can help deter some pests and may even improve flavor. Marigolds add color and repel nematodes. Monitor for common heat-exacerbated problems like spider mites or blossom end rot. Consistent calcium availability through soil amendments and even watering helps prevent the latter. That magical first ripe tomato of the season, plucked warm from the vine, still carrying the heat of the sun, sliced and eaten right there in the garden with a pinch of salt and maybe some fresh basil. It's one of those transcendent moments that makes all the effort worthwhile and reminds you why homegrown food matters so deeply. Nail the watering consistency, choose the right varieties, and mulch aggressively, and that rewarding experience becomes something you can count on every single hot season from now on. Number 2. Peppers. Peppers share a uniquely dynamic relationship with heat that sets them apart from almost every other vegetable on this list. Most plants simply endure high temperatures. Peppers actively respond to them, often improving in multiple ways. The hotter and more challenging the summer, the more intensely flavored, abundantly productive, and vibrantly colored your harvest tends to become. Let's talk biology for a moment. In hot peppers, capsaicin, the fiery compound responsible for the heat, is ramped up significantly when the plant experiences thermal stress. A jalapeno or habanero grown during a cool, mild summer might offer moderate spiciness. Grow the identical variety through a long, brutal, dry summer, and the fruit becomes measurably hotter with more layered, complex flavors. The environmental hardship your garden faces is literally transformed by the plant into superior quality. Every scorching, uncomfortable day contributes to better peppers on your table. There is something profoundly satisfying and almost poetic about a vegetable that turns the toughest part of the season into its greatest strength. Sweet bell peppers operate slightly differently but reap equally impressive benefits. They require sustained warmth to achieve full mature size, develop rich, deep coloration, red, yellow, orange, and concentrate natural sugars for that signature sweetness. A hot, dry summer accelerates ripening and boosts sugar levels compared to cooler, wetter conditions, resulting in superior taste and texture. Practical growing advice. Start seeds indoors 8 to 10 weeks before your last expected frost date because peppers are notoriously slow to establish and need every advantage. Transplant outdoors only once nighttime lows remain consistently above 55 degrees. Water deeply at the root zone, but allow the top inch or two of soil to dry out between sessions. Peppers generally perform better with moderate moisture and occasional light stress than with constantly saturated soil, which can lead to root issues. Excellent, reliable varieties include California Wonder and Big Bertha for bells, and a range of hot types suited to your taste and heat level. One well-cared-for plant can easily supply more peppers than a typical household can consume fresh across an entire extended hot season. You'll find yourself freezing, drying, pickling, or sharing the surplus. The heat doesn't punish peppers, it elevates them. That is the reliable bargain summer offers these plants, and they consistently deliver on their side of the deal. Number 3. Watermelon. Watermelon is a true desert champion. It didn't merely adapt to drought conditions, it evolved under them. The wild relatives of modern watermelons originated in the Kalahari Desert region of southern Africa, one of the most unforgiving arid environments on the continent. For this plant, drought isn't a problem to overcome. It is the native environment it was perfectly engineered to handle. This shift in perspective changes everything about how you approach growing it. You're not coaxing a delicate fruit through adversity. You're providing a desert-adapted plant with the long, hot, dry summer it has been waiting for its entire evolutionary history. Your location influences the exact method, but success is achievable almost everywhere with adjustments. In the warmer southern half of the country, zones 8 through 11, direct sow seeds into warm soil after the last frost, and the extended hot season will handle most of the work. In cooler northern zones, 5 through 7, start seeds indoors about 3 weeks before transplanting and use black plastic mulch or row covers to warm the soil faster. You're giving it a fair head start, not fighting nature. Always plant watermelons directly in the ground rather than containers whenever possible. They need space, and their exceptionally deep and wide root systems are central to their drought tolerance, reaching moisture, reserves far below the surface that other plants cannot access. One of the most misunderstood aspects, and a mistake that ruins many homegrown melons, is watering during fruit development. Once fruits reach golf ball to softball size, deliberately reduce watering significantly. Continuing heavy, consistent irrigation at this stage produces large fruits, but they tend to be watery, bland, and low in sugar. Cutting back forces the plant to concentrate sugars in the flesh, resulting in incredibly sweet, flavorful melons. The experience of cutting open your own homegrown watermelon on a hot summer afternoon, juice dripping, sweetness exploding with every bite, that is one of the genuine highlights of the entire growing season. You partnered with a desert plant, respected its needs, and it rewarded you generously. Add heavy early mulching to conserve soil moisture, and consider companions like corn or beans that don't compete too aggressively for resources. Number 4. Okra. This is the one I promised. The vegetable that ramps up production in extreme 100-degree heat and actually performs better under brutal conditions than in mild weather. Gardeners who have battled through scorching summers with it use one word repeatedly: unstoppable. And they mean it. While tomatoes slow dramatically above 95 degrees and cucumbers start struggling above 90, okra hits those temperatures and accelerates. The hotter the day, the faster pods develop and reach harvest size. A single mature plant can reliably give you a harvestable pod every 24 to 48 hours, continuing nonstop for months as long as you stay on top of picking. This extraordinary performance traces back over 3,500 years to its origins in Northeast Africa and South Asia. It has been cultivated in extreme heat and irregular rainfall environments since before recorded history. Its entire genetic makeup is optimized for the exact conditions that defeat most other garden plants. Growing okra in your summer garden isn't forcing it into difficulty, it's returning it to something very close to its ancestral home. Planting tips: direct sow seeds into the garden after soil temperatures reach at least 65 degrees. Okra dislikes transplanting and establishes strongest from seed. Soaking seeds in water for 12 hours before planting can noticeably speed germination, often cutting the wait time in half, a free step with big payoff. Space plants adequately for good airflow. The single most important ongoing rule: harvest every single pod when it reaches 3 to 4 inches long, every 2 days without exception. If you miss some and let a pod grow large and woody on the plant interprets that as a signal that its reproductive cycle is complete, and overall production drops sharply. Consistent, frequent harvesting of young pods keeps the plant in full production mode as if summer will never end. Classic variety. Clemson Spineless remains a dependable performer. Burgundy offers striking red pods and edible leaves for added interest and utility. Once established, okra is remarkably drought-tolerant and handles deep but infrequent watering well. It's a genuine heat warrior that keeps your garden productive when other beds are fading. Number 5. Sweet potato. Let me share the personal story again with more detail because it illustrates the point perfectly. One summer I was overwhelmed, tomatoes demanding attention, peppers needing side dressing, the lawn growing like crazy. I planted sweet potato slips in late spring, gave them an initial watering or two, and then essentially abandoned the bed through the worst heat and drought of the year. No supplemental water beyond occasional rain, no fertilizer, no weeding even. In fall, driven by guilt, I took a fork to that neglected patch and unearthed the most impressive harvest of the entire garden. Abundant, large, deep orange, perfectly formed sweet potatoes. This wasn't random luck. It's precisely how the plant's biology is wired. When heat, drought, and stress arrive, sweet potatoes shift energy away from foliage and toward underground tuber production, the part you harvest. Harder surface conditions often lead to better yields because the plant prioritizes survival storage. Start your own slips easily. In early spring, place a sweet potato in a jar of water on a sunny windowsill. Within 2 to 3 weeks, shoots emerge. When they reach 4 to 6 inches, twist them off and plant as slips. This works across USDA zones 3 through 11, the broadest range here. Northern gardeners start slips indoors early. Warmer zones need almost zero ongoing management. Harvest in late summer or fall as vines yellow. Cure tubers for about 10 days in a warm, humid spot to convert starches to sugars and maximize sweetness before storage. Plant them, meet basic needs early, then largely step back and let summer do its work. They pair well with companions that don't shade them too heavily. Number 6. Pumpkin. Most people associate pumpkins with October harvests and fall decorations, but serious growers start planting in spring. Pumpkins typically need 90 to 120 days from planting to maturity. Timing your direct sowing for warm soil right after the last frost ensures the vines naturally die back in early fall exactly when fruits reach full color and size, perfect for porch displays, pies, and long-term storage. The hot summer isn't something to fight. It's the essential growing window that makes the fall payoff possible. Sow seeds directly in traditional hills, small mounds of enriched soil that warm faster, drain better, and concentrate nutrients for strong early growth. Plant in your sunniest, most exposed, hottest location. Standard varieties spread 8 to 10 feet or more, so choose bush types like Sugar Baby or Compact Cinderella for smaller spaces while still getting full-sized, worthwhile fruit. Provide consistent moisture, especially while fruits are developing to support size. Then, as vines begin yellowing naturally in early fall, stop watering. This final dry down period toughens the rind, concentrates flavors inside, and extends storage life significantly. A pumpkin you grew yourself sitting on your porch carries the entire narrative of the summer. Heat endured, care invested, and abundance returned. It's more than decoration. It's proof of a season well spent. Number 7. Cucumber. Cucumbers have developed an undeserved reputation for struggling in heat, but that reputation usually stems from one key mistake: choosing the wrong variety for your conditions. Standard slicing types often slow above 90 degrees, but heat and drought-tolerant selections like Armenian cucumbers, with ancient Middle Eastern dry climate heritage, or Marketmore 76 thrive beautifully where others falter. Plant in full sun once soil is warm after the last frost. Train them vertically on trellises, fences, or cages instead of letting vines sprawl. Vertical growing improves air circulation, reducing fungal diseases common in humid summer heat, saves space, and makes every fruit easy to spot and harvest quickly. The make or break rule for massive harvests: pick every single cucumber the moment it reaches usable size. Daily harvesting during peak production is ideal. Leaving even one overripe yellowing fruit on the vine sends a signal that the plant's work is done, and production slows or stops almost immediately. Stay vigilant, and the plants keep producing as though summer has no end. Miss a few days, and the window can close faster than expected. The payoff for that discipline is unbeatable freshness. A cucumber harvested from your own vines and eaten or pickled within the hour has a crisp snap, bright flavor, and juiciness that grocery store versions lose within 24 hours. That superior quality is available to you every single day you keep up with harvesting. Number 8. Eggplant. And here we reach number 8, the plant from my story. I left for a trip and completely forgot the eggplant bed. 3 weeks without any water during the height of summer drought and heat. Upon return, instead of a sad, wilted casualty, I found a robust, larger plant with fuller foliage and stems, heavy with beautiful, glossy, deep purple fruits. I stood there in disbelief for a long minute before it clicked. Eggplant, Solanum melongena, originated in South Asia and has been cultivated in India and surrounding regions for more than 4,000 years through cycles of intense monsoon heat followed by extended dry periods. When drought and high temperatures arrive together, it doesn't just cope, it recognizes familiar conditions and excels. Variety choice matters for your preferences. Black Beauty is the dependable, large-fruited American classic. Ichiban is a Japanese type with long, slender fruits and a sweeter, more delicate taste that might convert eggplant skeptics. Both love full sun. In zones 5 to 7, transplant in late May to early June. In zones 8 to 11, you can start as early as April. Use dark mulch to warm soil and provide deep watering once or twice a week once established. That's essentially the complete care routine. One of the biggest revelations about eggplant that grocery shoppers never experience is freshness. Eggplant starts developing bitterness within 24 to 48 hours after harvest. Much of the "I don't like eggplant" reaction comes from aged store-bought fruit that has been transported, refrigerated, and shelved. Pick one from your garden and cook it within hours, roasted, grilled, or in a stir-fry, and it transforms into something silky, mild, creamy, and almost buttery. It becomes an entirely different, delicious vegetable. The version people think they dislike often doesn't exist in a fresh home garden. 4,000 years of adaptation to heat, 3 weeks of total neglect, and still thriving with heavy production. Eggplant is arguably the most forgiving plant on this list and offers one of the most dramatic taste upgrades when grown and eaten fresh. These 8 vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, watermelon, okra, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, cucumbers, and eggplant, are all uniquely equipped by nature and history to dominate the heat and drought that challenges everything else in your garden. Stop fighting against your summer. Learn to plant in partnership with it. You'll spend less time struggling and more time harvesting and enjoying. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these heat-loving champions you plan to plant first this season, or which one has already been a hero in your garden. I genuinely read every comment. If this video helped shift your perspective on summer gardening, please give it a thumbs up, share it with fellow gardeners, and subscribe for more in-depth practical content. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep growing strong, even when the sun is blazing. Happy gardening! W.